Okay, in that last video we looked at statistics and the different types of answers that people can give to questions. So they can either give a word answer, and that would be called a categorical answer. Categorical answers are word answers. So, what is your name? What town do you live in? What country are you from? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite sports team? They are all questions that would require categorical answers. But you can also be asked questions in which you give numerical answers. Numbers. What age are you? How many people are in your house? How many toes do you have? How many books did you read this year? They are all examples of numerical data. Then we went on to look at the different types of categorical data that you can give. So you can give an answer that could be classed as ordinal categorical. That means you can rank the word answers in order. So another example would be test results like A, B, D, F, C. Which comes first? A. Then what? B. Then what? C. Then what? D, E, F. Those word answers can be ranked. We also looked at nominal categorical answers. So they're word answers that can't be ranked. So an example would be your favorite color, or your people's hair color. Those answers are word answers, but they can't be put in any particular order. There is no preference for one over the other. So there may be a personal preference on your behalf. You might prefer the colour pink, but that doesn't mean it should go ahead of other people's favourite colour, like red or yellow or blue. Same as hair colour. You can't put black ahead of blonde, or blonde ahead of brown, or brown ahead of red. It's just a word answer, and it has to be written in a list. There's also two types of numerical answers that people can give. So, if you give number answers, you could give a continuous numerical answer. Now, what does continuous numerical mean? Because people often get confused about this one in particular. Continuous numerical answers are number answers that are given with a range of numbers. So an example would be, if I asked you, what are the ages of the girls in St. Wolstan's? You couldn't say 16, because there are some girls in St. Wolstan's that are 13, that are 12, that are 18, 19. So you would have to say, oh, they are between 12 and 19. So there's a range of answers. That's what continuous numerical means. There's a range of answers. The numbers could fall anywhere between 12 and 19. Another example of continuous numerical would be if I asked, what are the heights of the students in first year? Well, roughly speaking, they are between 4 foot up to 6.5 foot. There is nobody that is smaller than 4 foot and nobody bigger than 6.5 foot. Now, maybe there are, but only slightly. So the answers are found somewhere in there. So this is an example of continuous numerical data. It falls within a range of numbers. Okay? Now, discrete numerical is when you give a whole number answer. There's no messing about. You definitely know the number. For example, the amount of brothers, sisters you have. Well, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, so I have 4. I don't say between 4 and 6, because I know definitely how many brothers and sisters I have. Another example would be the amount of counties in Ireland. Well, there's 32. There's not 32.5 or 31.9. There's 32. So this is an example of discrete numerical. A whole number, definite answer. Okay? So let's just look at that again, because it's tricky. If I asked you the question, what age are you? Would your answer be a continuous numerical answer, or would it be a discrete numerical answer? Well, you would say I am 14. So that's an example of discrete numerical. It's a definite number, a whole number. However, if I asked you, how many people are in the families of the students in St. Wolstan's? You can't say for sure that it's 2, or that it's 3, or that there's 4 people in people's families, or that there's 5 people in people's families. But what you could do is give me a range of options. So you'd say, well, there's between 2 all the way up to 10 people in all of the families of the students in St. Wolstan's. And that would be your answer. So that's different, isn't it, than saying, oh, my age is 14. There's a range of answers. So that's an example of continuous numerical. So let's just zoom out here and see that again. The 4 different types of data. You've got categorical answers. They're word answers. And it can be broken up into ordinal categorical or nominal categorical. Ordinal categorical is when you can rank the word answers. Nominal categorical is when you can't. You've also got, let me get a different color highlighter. You've also got numerical answers. And they can be broken up into 2 different parts. You've got continuous numerical, where you're talking about a range of numbers. Or you've got discrete numerical, where you're talking about a definite whole number. So they're the 4 different types of data. Ordinal categorical, nominal categorical, continuous numerical, or discrete numerical. Now let's see a little task for you. See if you can tell which type of data the following things are. I'm going to do the first one with you. So number 1, the weights of the students in your class. Now think about that for a second. Some people are really, really skinny, and some people are a little bit heavier. So you can't tell me for certain that there is a definite weight of students in your class. You couldn't say, oh, everyone is 9 stone, because everyone isn't 9 stone. Some people are lighter than that. Some people are heavier than that. But what you could say is that everyone in your class is at least 5 stone. There's nobody lighter than that. And there's nobody heavier than 15 stone. So that would be your answer. Oh, I don't know for sure what the weights are, but I know that they're between 5 and 15 stone. So what's that an example of? It's an example of continuous numerical. Okay? Now take a look at the next 4 and see if you can figure out if they are nominal, categorical, ordinal, categorical, or continuous numerical, or discrete numerical. So they're one of those four, and you see if you can read through those and figure out. So pause the video now, and when you think you have an answer for the four, play the video and see if you're right. Okay, I'm going to continue on. So for number 2, the number of cars in a car park at 9 AM. Well, if you went out at 9 AM and counted up the number of cars, you would come to a definite whole number answer. So there might be 20 cars in the car park, or there might be 30 cars in the car park, but there definitely isn't 20.5 cars, or there definitely isn't between 20 and 30 cars. That means you just didn't count right. There is a definite number of cars in the car park. That means number 2 is discrete numerical. Okay? Number 3, the percentage of a student gets in a test. Well, they get an answer, don't they? When they get their test result back, they get a result. It could be 50%, it could be 60%, but there's a definite result. That means that number 3 is an example also of discrete numerical. Number 4, the hair colour of the students in your class. Some have blonde, some have black, some have red, some even have blue hair. But they're all an example of nominal categorical. They're word answers that can't be ranked. Number 5, the favourite bands of your classmates. Well, they're definitely going to be word answers. Some people might like Take That. Some people might like One Direction. Some people might like Justin Bieber. But they're all word answers. So it's definitely a categorical answer. Now, which is it? Is it nominal or ordinal? Can you rank people's bands? No, you can't. So it's another example of nominal categorical. So both 4 and 5 are examples of nominal categorical. Okay, how did you get on there? I hope you did well. And let's keep going. And let's take a look at how you collect data, how you collect this information. Now, we did a little table in the previous video up here on the names and ages of people in our class. Sorry, in our house. I did my one there. I wrote down the names of the people in my house and their ages. So this is how I collected the information. I used a little table. But there are other ways of collecting information. Let's take a look at those other ways. First thing you could do is you could do what's called a census. And a census is when you ask everybody in the country a question. So every single person in Ireland, you would ask them the same question. And you would find out all of the answers. Now, the only problem with that is there's around about 5 million people that live in Ireland. So it's going to take you an awful long time to ask everyone that question and to look at all the results. So it's not a very easy thing to do. So a quicker way to do it would be to take a sample of the people in the country. Don't do all of them, just do some of them, and give them what's called a survey. So you ask a sample of the population some questions, not everyone. The questions you ask them are called a survey. Now, this is a very good way to do it because it's much quicker than doing a census. It's also much cheaper because you don't have to hire loads of people to do it. The only problem is it's not as accurate because you haven't asked everyone. You've only asked some. In the next video, we'll take a look at how we might put the data on a page. So have a look at that next video.